Good afternoon, students. Seeing this is our first experience with Nearpod, I've decided you will see both the student and teacher viewpoint of this presentation. In order to join my presentation, click the Join button, and then you will enter the following code. After you have entered the code, press the right white arrow in order to move on. Once we come to the next page, it's going to ask you to enter a name. Since in this session you will be able to see the answers to other students, I suggest that you give a name that is unidentifiable to you. Therefore, someone cannot tell which answer is yours. In this case, my name is going to be Blueberry on the join session that I have already started. Once you enter a name, you will see this pull up, but it'll be in a bigger screen and you won't have all this weird stuff in the corner. All this tells me is this is how many students are in my class, and this is the code to enter. As I move on in the presentation, your screen will automatically move on also. This is a borrowed presentation for us to practice off of, but it still has many valid points about writing a description. Therefore, I advise you to still pay attention because there are questions throughout. The objectives are to identify and analyze 4 essential elements of description as rhetorical mode, and to use elements to plan a description. As you can see, the first question I've already answered, and as you all can see on yours, it is the question and then a gray area for you to type your answer in. Essay writing, rhetorical modes, rhetorical forms, and modes of discourse. The following list is a list of particular essays that need, well, particular purpose and organization, as it says, which means these specific essay types may need to be written differently from each other in some form. Description writing checklist. Writing that creates a clear and vivid impression of the topic, and it translates your experience of a person, place, or thing into words, often doing that by appealing to our senses. Well, how do we write a description? First, we create a dominant impression about the topic. Then we will use details that appeal to the 5 senses. Following that, we enhance this impression with figurative language, such as a metaphor or simile, and then we organize it in a spiral pattern. The following is an example. It was a narrow room with a rather high ceiling and crowded from floor to ceiling with goodies. There were rows and rows of hams and sausages of all shapes and colors, white, yellow, red, and black, fat and lean and round, rows of canned preserves, cocoa, and tea, bright translucent glass bottles of honey, marmalade, and jam, round bottles and slender bottles filled with liqueurs and punch. All these things crowded every inch of the shelves from top to bottom. And as you can see, these are the senses that we're trying to invoke. Next, you have another question. What impression does the author create for the corner store? What does this place feel like? So I will write in my answer. It will confirm, and then after a moment or so, it will show my answer. Writing a description. Sensory details and figurative language go into the dominant impression, which forms an adjective. Read and annotate the following text for sensory details in figurative language. The suggested time is 5 to 7 minutes. We're going to continue over this since it is such a long activity. Complete the sentence. The blank, oh, yeah, we don't have to do these questions either. And this is just a review of the entire slideshow there. And that is the end. As you can see, it's not a very complicated process. It's very interesting because while in this case it only had open-ended answers, I can also give you all multiple choice. I can put in diagrams for you all to draw in and many other interactive things. I find it very good for us to use something like this because it's very personal and in time, and it provides all of you with the opportunity to put the immediate concept into use. Thank you all very much, and I hope you all enjoyed it.